Hi, it's Sharon, creator of Win the Interview, Get the Job Interview Skills Training Program. In this video, I'm going to talk about the basics of interview preparation, and I'm also going to share with you a little secret tactic that you can use during the interview that 95% of people going for jobs don't know about. And it's going to enable you to really connect with the interviewer and get them seeing you as a serious contender for the job. When preparing for an interview, one of the very first places you need to start is you need to look at the job description and familiarise yourself with the tasks and responsibilities of the job, so that when the interviewer talks about the job, you have an in-depth understanding of it and you can relate to whatever the interviewer is talking about. Now, this is really important because the employer has oftentimes spent a long time agonising over getting the job description just right, and a lot of thought has gone into it. So if questions come up around the job itself, you're going to want to be able to talk very knowledgeably about that area. So step one is you must know the job. The second thing you need to do is you need to know yourself in relation to the job. You need to be able to relate the skills, strengths and experience you have to the tasks and responsibilities in the job. It's always helpful to take a look at the job, then write out a list of the skills and strengths you have in advance of the interview. I recommend you write out between 8 to 10 personal unique selling points. These are basically the unique set of skills and strengths that you can bring to the table that is going to help the employer achieve his or her goals. So what you will want to do when preparing your statements is think about how these strengths and skills are going to sell you to the employer. So how do you do that? Well, you have to write them in a way that makes sense for the employer. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm applying for a secretarial role, and one of the tasks of the job is I'm going to be asked to do a lot of typing. So instead of just saying I'm a really good typist, I would say something like, I can type 60 words a minute, and that means I can get through a lot of work in a very short space of time. So it's important to prepare around this area because there are usually a couple of questions in the interview which will focus on how your skills are a match to what the employer is looking for. So after doing this simple exercise, you're going to be able to answer those questions very quickly and naturally. In actuality, what you're doing is giving them a whole bunch of reasons why they should hire you. The next area you need to prepare under is you need to know the organisation. Now, there are two reasons why you need to know the organisation. The first is that this is an environment that you're going to be in 5 days a week. So the very first reason why you need to research the organisation is to find out if this is the kind of place that you'll be happy to work. The second reason is most employers want people who want to work in their organisation. The people hiring you have put in a lot of man hours, and some would say sweat, blood and tears, to make the company what it is today. So they want people who want to work there. If you rock up to the interview and not have a clue about the organisation, not only will you risk offending them, but you'll also come across as someone who is likely to leap before they look, and that's going to set off all kinds of alarm bells in the mind of the interviewer. It's really important that you not only thoroughly research the organisation, but you also know about the products and services it provides, as well as its competitors, as this is an area that you're highly likely to be questioned on. It could be a question like, can you tell me what attracted you to our organisation? Or what do you think about our latest product, Product X, for example? So you're going to want to be very responsive to these types of questions. The next area you need to prepare is you need to research the interview questions and develop your answers to them in advance of the interview. It's absolutely critical that you do this if you want to come across as someone who is confident and competent during the interview. Now I'm going to give you a little secret tactic. Now, I call it a secret tactic because it's not talked about very much in any of the books I've read on interview skills. They don't really pay that much attention to it. They talk about the other areas such as get to know the organisation and the job, but I'm amazed that this area isn't touched on more because in my experience this is a really important one for employers and it's one that you need to know about as well, so I'm going to mention it here. As I said in my first video, I've been working with employers very closely for the past 15 years. And the great thing about getting so up close and personal with employers is they've told me what's really important to them when choosing which candidates to hire. And I can tell you now that one of the most important things from an employer's perspective is they all want to hire people who can help them solve their immediate challenges and help them achieve their most pressing goals. Let's step inside the mind of the employer for a second. What is going on for the employer is they have a number of short-term goals and long-term goals that they want to achieve. And the reason they're talking to you is because they want to find out if you're someone who's going to help them achieve their goals. From my experience, very few employers will hire someone who they think is going to take 3 to 6 months or longer to get up to speed with the job, especially now in the current economy. Employers want people who can get started quickly and start making a difference in their organisation straight away. So now when you start talking about how you can help them achieve their short-term goals, which are the most pressing for them, you're going to have them smiling from ear to ear, because they will then be able to see you on the job offloading some of the work that's burdening them right now so that they can become freer and move on to the higher business on their agenda. So when you demonstrate that you're someone who can help them achieve that, that's when they start looking at you as a serious contender for the job. So the final area I recommend you prepare under is you must know the employer. You must know what's driving them, what their goals are, what their problems or challenges are, and particularly what problems or challenges they're trying to solve right now. So here's a quick summary of all of that. If you've got a pen, you can write this down. Okay, so how to prepare for a job interview. Step 1, you must know the job. Step 2, know yourself in relation to the job. Step 3, know the organisation. Step 4, research the interview questions and practice your answers in advance. Step 5, know the employer. Okay, so there are a few really good suggestions for interview preparation that are going to help you win the interview and get the job. So get cracking with those and I'll talk to you again soon.